And we're live. Hey guys, this is Mark Maya. I have Brett today. I used to actually think, Brett, your last name was Booner and not Brooner, or is it?
It's better than boner, like a lot of people think. That's what a lot of people think at first. That's what a lot of people tease growing up too with that name.
Did you didn't
Still
get
put it here and there.
people didn't call you Brett Boner as a kid, didn't they?
No, I remember we had this one kid in my neighborhood though. He would say it all the time. He was an older kid. Like I have two older brothers. One will be 28, one is 30 right now. So the 30-year-old, it was like a kid in our neighborhood his age. And I remember, like, he just, like, we didn't take it, so the kid stopped saying it. And honestly, no one really ever said it.
Okay.
Weird, but yeah. People joke around here and there, but it never stuck.
Sure. It's just,
thank God.
That's how the talk started today. So,
so yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so this is my Artist Talk series. Brett, where are you at today?
I am in Omaha, Nebraska. Got some storms rolling in, looks like.
Yeah. Do you guys have
get hit with a tornado?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it tornado season for you guys?
Yeah, here and there. It's kind of like last night, north, I think, yeah, north of where I live. Looked like there was like some sightings. I don't know if any touched down though officially, but
okay.
It was dark yesterday, that's for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever got to photograph any or anything?
No, I haven't. That's actually been on my bucket list to do. I know a few people, not like anybody who's hardcore into it, but there are a few people that I've seen like through my Facebook friends. No one I've met personally, but they're locals that have gone out with people that chase storms, and I think that'd be so bad. It's just like such a different environment, I feel like, compared to like weddings or something.
Yeah, God.
Nuts.
Twister.
Dude, yeah, it'd be nuts. It'd be crazy.
Yeah, that would be intense.
I would never go alone though, because I hear that I think they go northeast, tornadoes do, or north, I don't know. See, I don't even know for sure.
Yeah, right.
So you don't want to get, you want to make sure you're with someone who knows like the way that they're moving, basically, so that you don't get caught up in it.
Oh my God, yeah. You don't want to get sucked up. Although you never know. You could survive and have some amazing inside of Twister.
Oh my gosh.
And they would go viral.
That'd be nuts. Yeah.
You would get so many Instagram followers for that. So you have
oh man.
You kind of got started on Instagram, didn't you? Like what's
100%. 100% was Instagram. Damn, when did Instagram even come out? Was it 2009 or 2010?
It's just taken over my life.
I think 2010 it dropped. I don't even know. I remember my buddy Kyler. He was like the first of our friend group who got an iPhone. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I didn't even get a phone till I was like 17.
Yeah.
So I was like almost finished with like junior year by the time I got my Razor phone. And so it was like a long way for me to get an iPhone, but he had it. And then a local dude here, I skateboard, so I grew up skateboarding and all that stuff. So a local skateboarder, he owns like a graphic, I think like graphic design is or like branding, basically branding company called Secret Penguin. But Dave Nelson, he skateboards. He was posting photos of his skateboard up in Colorado, and it was just like had the old filter on it. And so I saw that, and I saw Instagram. I was like, oh, what's that? And then I figured out you could only have it with an iPhone.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, damn, so once I told my buddy, I was like, yo, you should get Instagram. And once I got my iPhone, we both got Instagram, and we started Instagramming together. And I mean, it was the typical shit, like cloud porn, sunsets, like, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So that's kind of how that started. And then like 2 years later, I finally got a camera. I got more interested in it, but I mainly got a camera to like film skateboarding.
Okay.
So yeah, we did a big trip, and I got a camera so we could document the trip, basically.
Yeah. So you said you're talking about the start of Instagram. So yeah, you're saying that's the beginning of your photography.
For sure. Yeah. I was always interested in taking photos at like parties with my friends and stuff like that.
Mm.
But that was just like point and shoot shit. And then I go home and like Picasa, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I've used that a long time ago.
I guess like I would even say that I caught interest in it without knowing about the interest in it. Does that even make sense?
Yeah.
When I was younger, so me and my brother, we skated together. My brother, I have older brothers, but my middle brother, so second oldest, he skated a lot more than my oldest because he played baseball and stuff like that, which I played baseball too. But when we'd go out, we'd take my parents' camcorder, so like the old VHS tape stuff, and I just film him doing tricks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like even back then, when I was like, gosh, I had to have been like 9 or 10 with that thing, and we were just rolling around skateboarding, and he was really good, so it was kind of fun. And then I think maybe, you know, 11 or 12 years later, I kind of got that interest back, and I think it was always there. I just lost it, maybe.
How old are you right now?
I'm 25, so I'll be 26 though in October.
Okay.
So yeah.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you're significantly younger than all the other artists that I've talked to. Most of them are around 30 ish. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, your Instagrams have, I mean, you have a ton of followers. So at what point do you feel like, or what happened where something switched and it became professional, quote unquote, or, you know, whatever?
Honestly, oh man, so I have 3 accounts, obviously, but
yeah.
my main one,
guys, you can click on them and follow too.
My main one, the Brett Brooner one, I was kind of off and on with it, but like early on when like I said, when I first started like getting into Instagram, they had popular page back then. I bet like half of you don't even know what that is, by the way.
It's called popular page?
Yeah. Yo, you don't even know? Oh man, damn. So popular page was like the first thing created to get your name out there, basically. Instagram would choose. It's like what suggested user list is now.
Okay.
Which I don't even think they have suggested user lists anymore.
I think when you follow somebody, it like pops up and has.
I think that's the main thing now.
Yeah.
So what popular page was like what it is to your what's that page called? The search page. So what your search page is now, that used to be the popular page. And there'd be, I don't know, maybe a total of like 24 images or something like that.
Yeah.
So it'd be like just like a row of 8. And how they did it was they picked the best photos on Instagram at that time, and they'd leave it up on that page for like 3 or 4 hours.
Okay.
So everybody on Instagram saw your photo, no matter, like, pretty much no matter what, because there was only like 24 photos.
Hey, how's it going back there?
That's my girlfriend. She's all like, what's going on?
We're live to the world right now. Say hello.
Getting ready for work.
Cool. That's the way she shoots out. She's like,
I know, right? So no, that was popular page. So I was addicted to Instagram when I started first, and so I hit popular. I always know my number. I hit popular page like 13 times when I first started.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of how my Instagram took off from the beginning. But then I kind of like, it was from sunsets and cloud porn and all that stuff and like just random stuff. And then I kind of just like lost interest in Instagram. I don't know why, but I just wasn't interested in it as much. And so I kind of faded out a little bit. And when I came back on, I was just like taking photos of like the stupidest stuff, like a guy on his motorcycle sitting in traffic and just like, because I was just like, this is so dumb, like Instagram's stupid.
Yeah.
And so that was like kind of my way back in. And then like people just like didn't follow me or anymore because I kind of stopped caring. And then I finally got into photography like more. Mm-hmm. And that was over like, I don't know, like a 2-year process almost. Because I got a camera in January of 2012. So maybe like a year and a half, I was kind of like, But yeah, that was popular page. And so I hit that, and that's kind of how my following started pretty much. After that, it kind of just slowly growed. It just took forever. But organically, I grew it to about 25,000 followers. And that was after, I think the main key was just like traveling a lot. I started doing a lot more travel. Like in March of 2015, I think I probably had around like 8,000 followers. And I did a 7,500-mile road trip just by myself. And then I actually picked up a buddy about 5 days in, and he hung out with me for about 8. And then I finished the trip by myself. But after that, that's kind of when it started just kind of slowly growing. And I mean, Instagram is so adventure based now. Like, if you don't do adventure photography, like, people don't follow you, which is ridiculous. But or fashion or fit, you know, like I feel like those are like the 3 big things on Instagram that people are on there following. Yeah. Fashion, fit people, and adventure photographers. Like, it's just like who, whoa. No, I hit the camera off. How did I do that? Yeah, okay, there we go. I hit the space bar. I don't know why. Huh. Anyway, so yeah, and after I hit about 25,000, there's was suggested user list.
Right.
Which means anyone who makes a new account, you're suggested to that person, basically.
Oh, really?
So I jumped up. Oh man, I jumped up to like 65,000. So like 40,000 followers within 2 weeks. So it just blew up, basically, that part. That's kind of what suggested user list was back. And I think they stopped it at the end of 2015. And that's why I've dropped down to like 59, because they've deleted out all those, the bots and the fake accounts and stuff like that. Because people sign up, you know, and then they follow you, and then they're like, oh, well, I'm kind of done with this. Or they make fake accounts or the shout out accounts and stuff like that.
Right on.
So that's kind of like how my personal grew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about the Visuals Collective.
So Visuals Collective has gone through so many name changes. When I first started, I was hella into, you know, Visco, obviously, like everybody was.
Yeah.
And so when I first started, it was called, the actual original name of the account was Visco Gang.
Oh, yeah. I recall that.
Yeah. So once I hit like 10K, though, I ended up changing it just because I was like, well, it kind of turned into something I didn't think that was even going to happen.
Yeah.
And so I ended up changing it to the Visuals Gang. And then after I hit 100,000 followers, I felt that name just wasn't something that a lot of people would work with. If it was like, if I were to turn it into like a photo agency or something like that. I just felt that the name just wasn't like professional, so I just changed it to Visuals Collective after 100K, and now it's just gonna kind of sit there. That just grew completely organically, man. Like it was in the early stages of Visco, so I was on there curating all the time and like interacting with people, trying to get them, you know, to send their photos in and get them featured and stuff like that. And people were hyped on it from the beginning. I just think it was like an early on thing, and it just took off from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us photographers, when we start out, we know Instagram is important. I mean, it sounds like, I guess, just simply having that many followers that was motivating. I mean, is that something that kept you doing it? And
oh man,
did it actually help your business like over time? I know it does now, probably, but
it just for personal, it helps like tremendously. Yeah. I get a lot of inquiries based off of just Instagram only.
Sure.
More word of mouth though, but right now, I mean, it's crazy that people contact me from Instagram now. It's like the weirdest thing ever, because a lot of people, they trash talked it, you know, a year and a half ago, about, oh, like, we're on Instagram, and now people are like making careers off of having like content and that following.
For sure.
It's
interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
And I think you're just a great example of that, and consistency, and again, I think going back to what you said first, you know, doing what you're shooting what you're passionate about in the beginning, and I think being aware of yourself is what I heard too. Is, you know, you're like, I'm I just want to take photos with my phone and just put them on this thing and see what happens. And
yeah,
I don't know, but I know initially whenever I started Instagram, it was I was thinking about my photography, because it was only like 4 years ago, I think, and that was kind of began my business. So
it's crazy, man. Like how far it's come.
It totally is. It totally is. And it's nice to have been in it for 4 years and stuff, but starting out, it is difficult. So let me see if anybody's asking questions out there.
Cool. Well, I just looked over and seen that screenshot. Solid.
Let's see. Sean Carr.
Oh no! Don't answer. Watching? No.
He said,
allow it.
Ask you about your fox feeding skills.
Oh no! I don't know if I want to talk about that. All the environmentalists will hate me.
Sean is from North Carolina, where I'm from. So
he is, yeah.
Yeah,
he is there though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, for sure.
Do you like it there?
Yeah, I love the city I live in. I like Durham.
Yeah.
I think North Carolina in general has a bad rap right now, just because of all the political shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Our governor's a numbnuts kind of, and there's just some things happening because of that. But the city I live in is Durham. It's where Duke University is.
Yeah, man. One Tree Hill.
Yeah. So the guys who made Stranger Things are from Durham.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, they're filmmakers from Durham for sure.
That show.
Yeah, nobody really knows that, but they're both from here.
That's rad. What the something brothers? What is it?
I don't know. I don't remember their names.
Damn, I can't remember either. I always tried to remember it because they show it every time. I was like, oh, I want to remember their name because if they make anything else, I'm sure it'll be really good.
Yeah, they went to a school like right down the road apparently. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm Duke University here, and UNC Chapel Hill is right down the road, and Raleigh is right down the road, which is like NC State, and
that's rad.
And then I went to Appalachian State, which is in the mountains of North Carolina. Which I
heard that's pretty, like Appalachian Mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's way cool to shoot in and just hang out in. So
yeah. Are you're from? I'm gonna get off topic of me. Are you from Tennessee? That's right.
Yeah. Well, I was born in Tennessee. Actually, I was born in Johnson City, Tennessee.
I was saying my girlfriend. We were trying to go to Nashville possibly and just like check it all out, like nature scene there and all that stuff.
So I've actually never been to Nashville. It's actually really far from East.
Where are you originally from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long state.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know why I've never been to Nashville, but I think that's just why. It just takes a little while to get there. But yeah, but you should definitely come to Tennessee. I'm from the eastern part. It's really, really interesting there.
I'll say eastern's like where the mountains are, though, pretty much.
Yeah, it's right on the state line, and it's an interesting culture there. It's the kind of backwoods Appalachian.
Backwoods, backcountry guys.
Mm-hmm. So it's neat. So you were asking me about my name. I'll tell you my name. I was going to tell you the story of my name.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. So people want to say my last name Maya as Maya because most people have that name as a first name, and
Maya. I have a buddy that I skated with too, and his last name they say Maya, and now I'm curious, is it Maya?
His last name is Maya?
I don't know. Yeah, Maya.
Okay.
And now I'm like, oh well, maybe we've been saying it wrong.
Yeah.
I've never asked him personally.
I'll tell you why it's not wrong. Mine is just different. So my grandfather is from Jordan, and in 1948, when all this shit went down, if you know your history, he was actually an Arab at that time, and at that time the border of Jordan actually went up to Jerusalem. So he actually was born in Jerusalem, lived in Jerusalem, but he was a Jordanian, and he was a Greek Orthodox Arab, which is insane. And so in 1948, when all that shit hit the fan, he fled to America. And his name was like originally Maya with I think it was a 3 or 4 A's in it and some apostrophe.
Oh, wow.
and he changed it to Maya to, the story is that he was thinking about us, thinking about his ancestors, so he wouldn't be persecuted for our last name. So
That's insane.
It's wild. It's really wild. And he decided it was going to be pronounced Maya, because he's never heard of Maya before in his life, probably, So
yeah. Wow, that's crazy, dude. That's good history though for your name. I don't even know where my last name came from.
It's wild. I don't know. You look like you're.
They say I'm like German, Polish. I'm like a mutt basically, but
yeah.
I think I'm mainly German. I mean, I'm blonde hair, blue eyes, and super pale. So
yeah, for sure.
Hold up, I gotta say what's up to Jackson. That's my idiot best friend.
Okay. Yeah, Jackson, what up?
But
I got a question. Let's see, from Sarah. Sarah's asking. I assume she's referring to. Well, I don't know what she's referring to, but she's just asking, how do I get featured, and what do you look for? I'm wondering if she's talking about your
visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have to answer that directly to her, but maybe as someone does curate a pretty successful one. What are some things you're looking for? Are you looking for that adventure photography that you're talking about? And are you looking for a specific aesthetic, style of editing, etc.?
So I think the main things where people get featured is, I think a big thing obviously is the aesthetic, the same style. So basically, is your editing similar to what has already been featured on the Visuals Collective? I would say the style that mainly is curated is the popular one right now. It's like muted tones, like that. Mm-hmm. Nothing oversaturated. Just like more of a subtle look that shows the scenery off. You don't need to blast it, Either high or low contrast, that's not really a big thing. A lot of people do the fade. I think it works for some people. It works not for some people. Yeah. Another thing is obviously adventure photography for sure. I've kind of geared away from featuring like more cliche stuff. So like early on, Vance Creek Bridge, Horseshoe Bend, all those places were, like featured weekly.
Oh yeah.
Now it's like, it's still dope no matter what. If you go and visit that stuff, it's amazing. Like with the first time I went to Vance Creek Bridge, the sun was rising. It was super cloudy. It was misting. And there was a kid waiting there with rose petals on the damn bridge waiting to propose.
Oh my God.
And so it's just like, I think there's a cool like experience every time. So do it for the experiences, not for the photo.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's mainly like your editing style. Is it adventure photography? Is it something new and unique? A new thing though that I've kind of started about mid-July was takeovers. Mm-hmm. So once wedding season hit for me, I got really lazy to doing curating really well. So I just like pretty much was like, oh, there's a dope photo by someone I've been following, I'll post it. It just I got lazy. I got super lazy with it. It was just time consuming. So I started contacting people, via email or DM, asking if they want to take over the account. And basically that was based on their style and like all that stuff, if they fit the feed pretty much. And another thing that's really well is if you story tell really well. So like if you just like putting adventure hangs on your photo, then it's like whatever. I like people to get in depth about like the story or the experience that they had shooting a photo. So looking at people's captions.
Is that what you're saying?
What's up?
You're talking about lots of text with the photo? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So the caption, just in-depth captions, basically. Yeah. That way there's like a story behind it. You interact and you can connect with someone personally that way.
Sure.
So like, I don't know if you follow K-Punka, it's like freaking 20-year-old who shoots animals and just like crushes it. I'm sure that dude has insane stories, and so like stuff like that.
Guy who gets like really, he's like,
yeah, man, it's insane.
Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah, His name's, I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. It's like Consta Punka or something like that.
Isn't he like sit out in nature and just chill?
Yeah, man. I've heard that he just sits there for like a week waiting, you know, and trying to warm up to the animals. And then, yeah, it's insane. So like stuff like that. There's crazy stories behind that. Like today is, I'm sorry if he's watching, Birdie Mandaji, I think is how you say it. He's taken over the account today.
Oh, right on.
He just like got married, I believe, last year, but he's got some really rad content. And it's what I do is I ask you to send your 3 favorite photos of all time and get in depth with the captions.
Sure.
That way, when I post them, you know, like people are hyped to read that stuff. It's not just the photo that's dope; it's the whole thing behind it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Sure.
And so, yeah, he's doing. He's got 3 shots of his wife, which I think is really, really rad. And those are like the most meaningful. They've traveled here and there. One is Lake McDonald. There's a Lake Louise one, and then Machu Picchu or whatever. That like epic view looking down over the. I don't even know the temple stuff. I don't even know, honestly. I'm not sure, but I want to go there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read a story later on it though, for sure, when I post. So
okay.
It's cool getting to know people like personally too, like in the Instagram community, and I feel like a lot of people have kind of enjoyed that more. So I've got takeovers going all the way through the end of September already.
Very cool.
So it's pretty neat.
So you're a wedding photographer too?
I am, yes.
At what point did you start getting so many requests? You're like, fuck, I'm a wedding photographer.
Oh man, dude, I don't even know. I honestly didn't even seek out to be a wedding photographer.
Yeah.
Like I said, I grew up skateboarding, and like I got a camera mainly to film skateboarding, and I filmed a dude locally who's just like crushes it, and he helped. Him being so good made me want to be like incredible at filming because I didn't want to mess up anything that he did.
Sure.
And so I was like, you know, sitting there learning everything. So I knew that if I could learn how to film and make it look dope, he's doing tricks that are nuts, you know, like all that together, like it could be really epic. So I think I progressed really, really quick by filming him. I learned like how to shoot, you know, like settings, all that typical stuff. Just like quick.
Yeah, I guess I mean like at what point did people start contacting you for weddings that you started? Because I see your website. I mean, it's very much like very couples wedding stuff. So I mean, at what point did that happen? Where like, okay, this is the thing that you know I can.
Oh man, I would say 2013, my first wedding, December. Yeah. I actually wanted to take the leap after I realized I couldn't film skateboarding anymore without moving somewhere or trying to get in. So I think 2014 in January is when I just said officially, like, I want to do this. I want to try it. I had really fun at the first one I did. So I just launched ads all over Instagram, all over Facebook, like announcing that I was officially shooting weddings because I had gotten inquiries before about shooting a wedding, and I was like, oh God, no way, you know, like I'll mess that up. Yeah. But then I kind of enjoyed it, and then I've enjoyed it all the way up until now for sure. Like it's just like, I mean, how could you not have fun at a wedding? You know, it's so fun.
It's so much fun.
I definitely say I put wedding photographer as my main title for sure before anything. So I'd say for sure 2014 is when it kind of all started going down.
Right on. You have any embarrassing stories from when you first started shooting weddings?
Oh man, I don't know if I want to say them. I mean, just like things with private parts showing at random times, like stuff like that. I won't say who or what weddings, but there's definitely been things that I've shot where things have, you know, flown out where they probably weren't supposed to.
Same here.
And I don't even really tell anyone when that happens, you know, it's just like random. Yeah. Try not to embarrass anybody, but I'd have to think deeply. I feel like nothing insane has really happened to me yet. And I mean, I'm still kind of early on-ish, I feel like, but I'm in my 3rd year of weddings. And Embarrassing stories. I honestly like I've had such great clients and even their families have been like great. I haven't dealt with like anybody who was like really strict or anything.
Mhm.
Um I just cannot think of anything
Cool.
right now. Other than the private part stuff. That's only happened like 3 or 4 times though, so
Okay.
which is always weird when it happens.
Sure. Let me go back to my blog and see
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what we're posting. You have another question for me while I'm doing that? While I'm looking?
What up?
You have a question for me?
Yeah, I'm curious. How long have you been shooting weddings? And how old are you?
Yeah, I'm actually 32.
Okay, okay.
I'm turning 33 in like 2 months. So.
Hey, are you October?
Yeah, Halloween is my birthday.
What? Oh, I'm the 17th. I was gonna say that'd be wild if we were same date.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So how long? Yeah, how long have you been shooting?
Yeah,
Like,
so the weddings and couple thing is fairly new as far as a branding move.
yeah,
I started off, my initial trade is an educator, so I switched over to actually professional photography, making money photography. 3.5 to 4 years ago when I finished up my master's degree in media production. And, I was teaching at the time. At the same time, it was a great opportunity for me to build my craft and just make and make and make and make and teach and make and teach and make. So, I just kept posting everything I was making and trying to be fairly honest with everyone that I'm posting with and what I'm doing and be really organic and true to myself and what I wanted to make rather than try to do a business in the beginning. So, I did that for like 2.5 years ish. And then after that, just naturally people started being like, hey, I'll pay you to take photos. And I was like, okay, sure. And then, yeah. And then, and then here I am, just slowly having more and more business and a lot more education opportunities as well. Finally getting into the workshop thing and just did my photo camp, which I'll be doing a ton more of. I'll hopefully be traveling around doing the photo camp. This is
that sounds rad.
Yeah, it's something that is fairly new, and I think it's a neat idea. It focuses on teenagers rather than the young adults, the ones who want to learn how to be a professional photographer. This is more towards teenagers, and so ideally, I'd love to travel around and do that over time. But
Teenagers are super rad for sure.
Yeah, that'd be way cool. It'd be way cool to be able to do a teen workshop.
Hell yeah.
Because there's some of the kids that I teach. I mean, I sometimes get, I'm like, damn, I don't want to say anything, but I'm like, man, that image you just made is it's really, really close to, what I make as a
Right.
Damn. So there's tons of kids out there that if somebody would just step up beside them and show them a few things and tell them that, hey, you can do this. You don't need to be a certain age. You don't need to have a piece of equipment. You can do this. And so right now I want that to be me. So
I love that idea too, dude, because I honestly wish there was something like that around when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Omaha, Nebraska is like a very, I feel, traditional and conservative state.
Yeah.
So the thing is, go to high school, get your diploma, go to college, get your degree, and go work some corporate office job or something like that. But I feel like with that like people like you doing stuff like that, it's really opening up the minds of kids thinking and knowing that they can do other things rather than that and making a career for themselves. I think it's rad. I honestly wish I would have had that growing up because I feel like you could be a lot further, with just knowing how to start a business, like you're teaching these kids, or teaching them how to shoot and stuff like that. Like if people could have that, with other jobs and stuff but that's just with entrepreneurs and stuff like that. But
yep, exactly.
It's cool.
Yeah, in some of my classes, my longer year-long classes, I actually make them make a YouTube account and make them consistently or encourage them consistently posts, and you get talking about branding and talking about consistency and those things. And, over time, some of them, I even had one kid start making money last year on his YouTube. This is a high school kid. And I was like,
that's dope.
I've never made any money off my YouTube channel. And I'm like, damn it, man. I'm like,
it's so hard. Like, you have to get so many views, man, to get paid. Like,
so he edited it in such a great way. And so what made it go viral, that he made money off of this one video, is that you have to have people watch from beginning to end. And then YouTube will send it viral almost automatically. So if you have a consistent audience that watches it from beginning all the way to end, I mean, it's almost guaranteed to go viral, because at least in a certain subgroup.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I mean, like 30,000, 40,000, and
that's really rad.
We were looking at his analytics and stuff, and over the weeks, and it was really interesting to see that. But he just did a good job of spending time on editing the video, and it was about paintball or some shit. And
okay.
Yeah. So
damn, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Paintball,
way cool. And so now he gets he makes like a couple $100 a month from YouTube every month.
That's so rad. I think that's the best thing ever. I think I always was fascinated in that because, like, filming skateboarding, I have a YouTube account. Don't ever go to it, but just old skate videos, right? Yeah, that was my goal too early on, because I followed a dude named Nigel Alexander from California.
Mm-hmm.
And he filmed like the dopest skateboarders though at like all the local parks. And he was uploading like two videos a day, and getting like 15 to 20,000 views on, because he had a huge YouTube account, because he was filming pros here and there, and and all that traffic over like 4 or 5 years just builds up. So that's what I was like always fascinated by that, and that was like my goal when I first got a camera, was just like try to be a YouTube filmer and like get in with a company and film for them. But that went down the drain after about 6 months. Then I realized I needed to do something else.
That's a hard, man. It's hard. It's really hard, the YouTube thing. I've tried it so many different times. It's difficult to find enough time and get in a groove.
Yep.
Because it, like we talked about, it's not as easy to stay motivated. I don't think like that.
So hard.
I think you can have a business plan with that stuff too nowadays, and it makes it a little easier. Like that. But yeah, if you're just chilling and trying to make art, it's a little bit more difficult. So
do you follow Andrew Kearns?
Yeah, for sure.
Vlogs like all the damn time.
Yeah. I featured him on I have a similar, it's a very, very small collection of photos, and I featured him on. So
dude, yeah, well, he vlogs all the time. I don't get how he does it, and they're like always epic.
Yeah, I know.
It's insane. I give props to people like that are just like going night and day. But I feel like that's just like so mentally draining as well. But
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I love like Casey Neistat. I know everybody knows who he is. Yeah. He's just a hustler, and I think what he does is, it's something that very few people are willing to do. Yeah,
that's true. That's very true too. Yeah,
he's very transparent about his process. I mean, he doesn't sleep a lot. I mean, he's just
oh man, and that's what like a lot of people feel, that they need to go to bed at this time and wake up to this certain time.
Yeah,
and I mean, a lot of people do have like set times that they go to work and stuff like that, which makes sense. But if you are an entrepreneur, like, you just hustle and go all day, all night.
Yeah. I mean, I think over time, like, if you do what you love, like, and that's what happens in my case. For me, the only way that I've been able to hustle and just kind of do what I want to do is because I've had teaching and education to make money from, and then I made art, and I have this great situation, but not everybody has this situation.
True.
So, Sean wanted to let you know that he was in a coffee shop, and everybody in the coffee shop just heard your embarrassing wedding moment about private parts. So,
oh my gosh, Sean's probably lying. I don't trust anything that he says. Have you ever met Sean? Let's talk about Sean.
So, I actually just, I'm trying to come up with a kind of a dream team of photographers here in North Carolina, of educators that are willing to mentor other photographers, and I want him to be one. And I messaged him just recently and about that because he's got skills for sure.
He's all right. No, he's a super rad. I actually met him for the first time just back in May, but obviously, I'm sure a lot of people in the VSCO film users or Looks Like Film obviously knows who that dude is because he's a big ass troll. No, but yeah, he hosted a Whiskey and Wayfarers thing. Just like an event. I call it an adventure hangout with just photographers chilling and yeah, it's on Facebook. I think it's a private group, but it's just Whiskey and Wayfarers. It was just a random thing. He's trying to set it up for Guatemala next year. You know Mishka, it looked like maybe.
Right.
Do you know Mishka and Daniel Lopez?
No, I don't know.
No.
Daniel Lopez.
They were in that group you just invited me in, but
my group.
Yeah.
Well, so I probably don't know them as you said their name, but I may have interacted with them. But yeah, if you join my group, then those are all folks from just socially that have kind of for me.
So we did that. I met him for the first time in Colorado. That's what he was talking about, that fox feeding skills thing.
I see.
We were shooting photos of a fox and giving him some peanuts and stuff to try to get the photo.
Okay.
That's what he was referring to, but he's a cool dude. He's really chill actually in like real life. You'd think he'd be like some big dickhead or something with the way he trolls on Facebook, but he's actually like just really, really chill and just like super cool dude. But yeah.
Well, are you somebody was asking, do you teach any workshops or do you do any workshops?
I don't. I wish I don't know if I will ever. I just feel like I've been asked to like talk at conventions here and there, and I always say no just because I feel like that's not my thing at this moment. Maybe in the future, but right now I don't know if I know I have the knowledge, but I don't think I have the knowledge to be able to teach. I feel like not everyone can teach.
No, right on. Well, myself and Twyla Jones. Do you know her?
Who was it?
Twyla Jones.
Sounds really familiar.
She's kind of big. She's all of a sudden came really big in the Looks Like Film community. She's very good, very good. But look her up and connect with her. But we've been discussing ideas about like what a different workshop might look like, where it's a little less teachy, and it's a little bit more about the human, rather than the preset and the gear and the technique.
Yeah.
That might be something you might be interested in. If
be rad, yeah. I guess there's probably always something to work around it, but yeah, I always I stumble over words a lot and stuff like that when I'm trying to explain something.
Yeah,
and I just like don't get to the point, and I get off topic a lot. I'm sure people like realize that just like sitting here listening to me talk, like I'll just talk about something else.
No, man, we've had viewers increase as we've been sitting here. Some people are staying on and watching.
Nice. Yep. So yeah, it's just like I feel like I haven't got to that stage where I can like put words and like say them perfectly when they come out. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing. Like we're trying to get at. It's like this. I talked to Chad Barhite. Do you know him? He's out of Utah.
You leaving?
Yeah.
Because love you. She's going to work.
Have a good day at work.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, he does this new thing called the photo rehab. Have you heard of that?
I'm gonna look it up. Let me type it in. Well, I'm gonna write a note about it.
I am tentatively going up to it just to kind of hang out with them. It's in October, but it's called photo rehab. Everybody else look it up too. But he has. I'll let him coin the term, but he's calling it the unworkshop, where just getting out of this workshop culture of a group of people paying a bunch of money to go and sit and listen to a big name photographer.
I feel the same.
what they do, you know. And so what he's trying to do is shift that to the local communities, you know, and that's what you know, I'm trying to do with Sean and
Yeah.
folks.
I like that a lot. And I know obviously Sean bags on workshops all the time, but and I feel like that's why another reason why I never got into it, because I mean photographers taking other photographers' money. I don't know. I never really got into that. Yeah. Or like the big name like stuff, like you're saying, like people going just because that big name's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people are paying money just so they can go see that person. It's like a concert. Almost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I went and saw 21 Pilots, you know.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, there's some good workshops. I'm bringing Sam Hurd down to Durham in December. You know, like I'm bringing him down because I know his stuff is good. Like,
yep.
You know, I know he's like one of the biggest names in photography, and some people.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, people obviously learn so much at that stuff too.
Yeah.
It's just like I think it's that everybody has kind of tapped into it now, and it's just like there's all these new ones coming out. I think like Benj, his is like Cascade. I think that's rad. I mean, he's a huge name. The dude knows this shit. I think that's a rad one. Jordan Voth and like Taylor McCutcheon, I think, kind of started one. Mm-hmm. I think that's rad. Heck yeah, Photo Camp, I think is a good one.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I wish
Ben Sasso is honest. I feel like he's like, I don't even know that dude personally, and I feel like he's one of the most like responsive and most knowledgeable dudes, you know, to like give someone information.
Yeah. He's been a big inspiration for me as an educator.
Man. It's insane. He's a good dude for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying. I think I've emailed him and bugged the shit out of him to do one of these, and he's, you know.
I'm surprised he hasn't. I feel like he's pretty open to stuff, like just anything.
He's busy, you know, and I understand. One day, after a couple of years, I mean, I emailed Dylan Howe for over a year about this.
No way.
Yeah, before. I mean, I emailed him, last like July.
And has he done one? I haven't seen. I didn't see his name anywhere.
He's on there. If you go to just click on Education and Artist Talks, you'll see him.
Okay, cool.
Like, he was like back in July or something. I got him. So yeah, he's on there. So yeah. Let's see. Somebody from actually YouTube who's watching live on YouTube asked. His name on YouTube is Craving Dave. I don't know. He is asking, when do you think Instagram will die? And
when do I think Instagram will die?
Yeah, and I'll add to that. We were just talking about Snapchat before we went live, and can you talk about because you said you deleted your Snapchat, I deleted my Snapchat. I've heard a ton of other folks, photographers, who deleted their Snapchat almost instantly. Talk about that and just the evolution of this thing that jump-started your career as a photographer. I mean.
I don't know, man. Facebook's got a hold of Instagram, obviously. They bought it. And Facebook hasn't went anywhere. Oh man, it's so tough to say something like social media, like one of those would die, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram are all like just gonna be here forever. I feel like it's really hard unless like some other like form of media comes about. It's just like pictures are pictures, and Instagram has that like on lock.
Yeah.
Until like some weird new thing comes along, and it's like, when is that weird new like evolution thing gonna come? You know, like it's so weird. Like, you'd have to have like almost like some form of like 3D or something, or like a hologram that pops out of your phone. I don't know. It's just like, it's so hard to say when something would die, because Facebook's been around for, I don't even know how long. When did Facebook get started?
Like 06, I believe.
Yeah, it's been going for.
I was finishing up in the Marine Corps actually at that time, and I finished up my associate's degree, so I had a college email. And so I was able to get on Facebook because that was when it was just college. You had to be in college to be Facebook. So
I just looked at February 4th, 2004. Facebook.
Okay, that's four. Yeah, right on.
So that's been going for 12 years, and it's like, look how many, like, it's still building freaking users. It's still just growing so big. And I feel like Instagram's the same thing. Like, they've been, I think, 2010. Don't quote me. Hold up. Let's look it up really quick.
Yeah.
2010. And it's still growing insanely. I feel like, I don't know if it'll ever die, honestly. I think it'll be around. Like, MySpace went away, though, and it's like.
Yeah, that's true. That was going
like, oh, it's just like.
I think Facebook killed MySpace. So.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I feel Instagram will be around for at least 10 more years, for sure.
So photography in general, where do you see that going? I mean, what does photography look like in 5, 10, 20 years?
Oh, man. The future. Well, damn, looking at that new Mark IV, I feel like photography is just going to be incredibly easy to be able to capture a photo.
Yeah.
Which I'm not totally against. I think it's cool because I know a lot of people do get anxiety, like with that. They have that new post focus thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys, I'm gonna talk. If the new Mark IV, you can post or you can focus and post, which it's just like the craziest thing. I feel like.
How does it work? Looks like what that even looks like. I don't know how we're going.
I don't know. Yeah. So it's like, can you change it to 1.4 and like change it to like 5.6? Like, I don't know. I don't know. So I feel like even with that coming, that's like dropping in a month probably. I feel like that's already like.
I think it's actually Saturday.
Damn.
Yep.
That's already like hella innovating, like dropping that right now. I feel like that's already the future. I think it's good and I think it's bad. Why I think it's good for like something like that to like the innovation of photography is that you don't miss moments. Like if you are a wedding photographer, you don't have to worry about like missing a moment, like with the focus or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which is nice. You never know what's happening or like how like things happen quick. If you shoot weddings, for sure.
Yeah. It
happens so quick. It's the blink of an eye. So I think that's cool with like that focus thing happening. I feel like that's the future kind of.
Yeah.
The only reason why I think it's bad is I feel like it's going to be able to allow anybody to shoot weddings, like pretty much.
Yeah.
And there's but then again, there's cheap people out there who pay for cheap stuff, and the people, who know that they know they're not, I guess, at that level to shoot a wedding professionally and charge an insane amount for it.
Right.
What they think they're worth.
Sure.
So they're going to charge, what they think they're worth, which is like $1,000 or $800, which I think is totally fine because if you are on top of your game, you should be charging, you're up in a higher amount and you shouldn't worry about the cheaper people because you don't want to, I hate to say that, but you don't want to photograph cheap people because they're not as interested in, or they don't, I've learned that they also don't value you as much as, the other way around.
Sure. And I mean, I'll say at the same time, I know a lot of people out there are beginning photographers and they want to be wedding photographers. I still continually encourage folks to, in the beginning, to, either charge very little or do it for free.
Yeah.
And just that stuff.
I can understand it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
So with all that said, I think I agree with what you're saying. At the same time, there, realistically, most folks didn't have the beginning that you did either, where they kind of had that Instagram thing, which is
I know
a big jump.
On that quick.
yeah, and that's rad. That's great. I think, I mean, I heard. I think I heard Ben Sasso even saying like one of his first weddings, he did it on Craigslist. And he charged like $600, $700, $800,
That's what my first wedding, I think I made $600.
Yep.
December 27th, 2013. Shot it in Sioux City. I made $600.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I paid my own gas getting up there. I think that they got me a hotel though.
Yeah.
But yeah, $600, man. My first here's to keep it real. My first destination wedding ever. Arapahoe National Forest in Colorado. I charged them $500 because I was so desperate to get something like that under my books and like to get that jump start on like promoting that I can travel and I can do this, I can do it for anybody. It was mainly like trying to get that trust and people coming to me and stuff like that. And so $500 is what I charged for that. Sure. I paid my own travel and I paid for my own hotel. I guarantee I made like $100 after that wedding.
Right. But I mean, that's the thing you got to do when you're starting off. It's like, and I mean, I know you probably loved the trip though too.
Oh, so fun. One of my favorite weddings ever, man. It was the basis of a local band. And they are literally like one of the raddest couples. And now that was 2014. So 2 years later, they own a wedding venue out about 30 minutes from where I am. And they recommend me for weddings all the freaking time. So I've got like 4 weddings and now it's like, it's crazy the way.
Yeah, it's like you really didn't make just $100 off that wedding, right? It's like, I try to think that way when I'm thinking about like cheap or inexpensive shoots.
Yep.
We're doing something nice. I'm like, I hope that, they end up referring me or, 5 years down the road, even maybe they hire me again or next year, whatever. I think that, that is so important. And, I mean, I'm an introvert. I've been an introvert all my life, but I think
that's crazy.
I know everybody says that. Everybody says that. But, they're like, no way. But yeah, I mean, it's something that you have to train yourself to do as a professional, as a person who deals and with other folks. You have to understand that you're making impressions and memories, and you're creating how they see you in their mind. You got it. I have it on my wall. I teach it to all my students, all my art students. It's empathy. I think empathy is one of the most important skills that photographers can learn. It's understanding what your clients will remember, what they want, of course, what they prefer. But I think it's something that can make a business sustainable rather than just kind of make a dollar. And
that's another thing. Like I always, when I wanted to get into it, it was mainly because, so I was in college, and my main goal that my parents wanted for me was to, get a job and go work at the Union Pacific Railroad.
Okay.
Our headquarters is downtown Omaha here. And so that was like literally, that's what my life was when I was going through high school, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So that's what my future was. And then I picked up a camera, did all that stuff. And so basically I got out of that finally, and I started doing photography, and it became more of, I don't want to work in an office the rest of my life doing crap I don't want to do, to, I don't care about the money. I want to do something I love. I don't care if if I'm a starving artist or if I do make good money or not. Like, as long as I can consistently, shoot photos for the rest of my life or do something, within this industry, I'll be happy. Like, I don't want to wake up at 7 a.m. and sit in an hour of traffic going downtown to work in an office all day and then come back home during rush hour. It's just like, I didn't want that for my life. I wanted something that was more fun. Like, and it didn't matter if I made a lot of money or if I grinded a lot and, just worked hard. It just didn't matter to me.
I mean, you think everybody has that choice?
I don't think so at all, man. I always say this, like, I'm so appreciative of my upbringing, my parents. Like, there's no way in hell that I'd be anywhere close to where I am right now with my career without my family or my parents at all.
Yeah.
Like, they allowed me to, and a lot of people don't have that. And I recognize that I was fortunate, to be able to have that growing up. And so, yeah, I mean, they let me stay at their freaking house while I was doing nothing, dude. Like, I was working almost full time. It was 32 hours at a call center, which is where I met my girlfriend at. And we've been together almost 5 years. It'll be November will be 5 years for us. And so I was living at my parents, you know, and all of my money that I was making was being invested into camera equipment, websites, you know, all my time. They were allowing that to happen, even though they were still kind of against me being out of school and out of college, but they still, you know, supported it. And
you don't have a college degree.
I have an associate's degree in business administration.
Got it.
Never used it though, but it's helped for sure with business stuff. So
sure,
but yeah, they've made it possible. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had that type of support. What advice would you give for folks who may not have that support and they're just kind of doing this on their own?
Oh man, I think if you don't watch Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah, Gary.
Man, if you don't watch him, because I know I can't say it as good as that dude's gonna say it. But I remember watching a video and something that he said to people who were, you know, struggling with either time or money and trying to make this as a career, you know, that don't have that support. He said something along the lines of finding a job that's gonna pay you the most, but do the less amount of work for it. Mm-hmm. That way you can focus on whatever your skill or trade is and invest a lot of time while you're at that job getting paid, but investing, you know, without. I think that was like a really crazy thing that I've never heard that. And honestly, when I heard him say that, I was like, damn, that's like a really smart thing. That dude is hella smart.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't
he's a great hacker. I think he's just hacked what the norm is.
Yeah.
And I love that so much.
The don't give yourself self-pity, like doesn't matter where you're at, just kick your ass, like keep going. If you want it, you'll get it. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you watch that dude on a daily basis, you'll definitely get to wherever you're trying to go.
Yeah. I first came across him watching the Chase Jarvis live stuff. And I mean, he just, you know, made a big impact on me and was very inspirational. So
yeah, it's insane, man. And I remember, funny enough, he was an Instagram ad in my news feed on Instagram once.
Oh, really?
So I clicked on him. I was like, who the hell is this guy? Like showing up as a sponsored ad. And this was like before they even like offered sponsored ads to everybody.
Making up his own ads.
Yeah, it was like way, way, way before that. That's when, I don't even know, like when a car company could get an ad maybe.
Sure.
And I was like, damn, like how the hell did this guy get an ad on Instagram? So I clicked on him. That's when I first discovered him. And I went to, he's like, it looked like a scam, like he was like doing some scam.
Yeah.
But then I went to his YouTube and like he spoke some real shit, and I was like, wow, like this dude's pretty legit. And then I've been following him ever since that, which is nuts. But
right on,
crazy.
We are almost out of time, but I want to ask a couple more questions.
Oh yeah, man, go ahead.
My before we do the gear question, so since over the past few years, you've gotten fairly steadily more popular as a photographer and more busy. Like, what are some things you do to stay grounded and connected and just stay human and, you know, all that?
So I honestly, that's something I've been struggling with as far as, I actually read a post last night that a photographer shared, Catherine Coons shared it. Mm-hmm. And it was something about like loving a self-employed person or something like that. And I read through that last night and it was like some just really good information. I wish I had a link for it, but yeah. To stay grounded, man, I think I'm still really learning on how to do that properly, because I feel like anytime I get an inquiry, I feel guilty to say no. And you just want to shoot everything that comes your way.
Sure. And
turning away people kind of sucks, but this year I've done decently. My parents took us on a trip to California and LA, or we went to Huntington Beach. So that was a really, really good getaway. I did that August 1st through the 11th. That was like mid-season. I just left. I didn't take any work with me. I kept up with emails every morning, but wasn't a whole lot of stuff to keep up with other than that. Yeah. Just letting people know that, hey, like I'm going on a vacation. This is that, you know, like a lot of people are very understanding that I do have, you know, a personal life outside of work life, because if you are not self-employed yet, you will realize that being self-employed, you're working 24 hours a day. Like
Yeah.
you literally work 24 hours a day. There's people that expect you to be able to reply within minutes of a text or an email. They want to feel important. You want to make people feel important. Like it's a really high, I think it's a high stress level, although it's like really awesome to be able to do. But I think learning how to take time off at the right time. So
Sure.
I think just like really giving yourself days off. Like I had 9 days off since last Wednesday. So I don't go back to work till Friday, but I think I've kind of just late this year, like July, I was like, you know what? I should just not book anything for about 9 days, take off, and then just get back into it all the way till the end of October. And so that's kind of what I've been figuring out. I think taking a day here or there just to relax and hang out with my girlfriend or my friends.
I'm a big fan of Stephen Colbert, and I've watched him for years, and
Yeah.
I've always really respected and thought it was so interesting that he's always taken these breaks,
Yeah.
weeks of breaks, you know. And I was like, how interesting. Like no one else does this. Like he makes sure that he takes these breaks, and I'm like, you know, but he's like one of the most genius comedians, personalities that I've ever seen. And I think, you know, I just sit there and I try to think about like the conversations that make these decisions. And I'm like, you know, I mean, in order to sustain that type of success and hustle, like you've got to take weeks off every now and then.
Yeah,
like,
I totally agree, man. And that's something I didn't realize late on. Like me and my girlfriend were originally going to travel from like the 15th through the 25th this year.
Yeah.
And I came back, you know, and traveling is tough. Like it's fun, but it's also stressful because you're out of your everyday life. And if you're shooting and getting content, you know, it's work kind of. But so we just decided, you know, we're just going to stay here. I decided I just wanted to stay in Omaha, catch up with friends that I haven't, hang with family, and just kind of get away from shooting. I've been editing still, but just editing and not having a shoot is really nice. Like just not having a shoot is really nice sometimes.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I understand.
There's no one, like editing, you're not interacting with anybody. You're not, you know, you're just doing your own thing in your own place. Right. And so, and you can take breaks here and there. And like with a shoot, you know, you're just shooting and it's crazy. But so yeah, not having to shoot for these past 9 days was nice. It's refreshing. I got a wedding on Friday in a really, really, really rad in-home, like architectural home. So I'm really like hyped to kind of get back into work now that I've been away from it. But yeah.
Sorry, we got some announcements happening.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah, so the last question I got for you is my gear question that I usually end with.
Cool.
So maybe give me your top three. Maybe talk about what camera you shoot with, and also maybe just your top three favorite pieces of gear.
Okay, cool. Gosh, I'm gonna talk about right now what's my favorite. So right now my favorite is honestly a Canon. It's a Canon 6D.
Okay.
With a 24mm lens on it. I have a Mark III, but for some reason my Mark III won't like interact with my 24mm well. And yeah, it's just weird. That's the only lens that just for some reason they're not operating well together. So I stopped, and 24mm is literally my favorite lens ever. It's my go-to. I shoot like almost all day, every day on it.
Wow.
So I would say that I love my 24mm.
Is that what brand do you shoot with?
Canon. It's the L lens 24L. Okay. I've loved wide because I shot skateboarding for so long.
Sure.
And that fisheye, it's not a fisheye, but just like that wider angle to show more of what's in the area. you can move in and out. But that's my favorite right now is a 6D linked up with the 24 millimeter. If I'm shooting a wedding, I do 6D with a 24 millimeter lens, and then I do a Mark III with my 85, just a 1.8. I don't want to go to the 1.2 because they say it's slow with autofocus.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of slow.
So yeah, I didn't mess with that. And I would say my third favorite piece of gear, I just bought a little Leica Deluxe Type 109, super cheap, compact camera. And I bought it for basically like family vacations, or when I go on a vacation where I'm not working, or, you know, just travel where I don't have to like take my gear and shoot content.
Sure.
So I love that thing. It's got a 24 to 75 like fixed lens on there, and it's just tiny as crap. It's a little baby, and I love it. It's nice to travel with. Yeah.
Way cool. That's great. Are you gonna buy the Mic 4 when it comes out?
Whew, I don't know, man. I've been thinking about it. I want to see some photos from it. I want to see some YouTube vids on that post focus thing too, to see what that's about.
I mean, I know I'm gonna buy it, but
yeah, I do too, just because it's a toy.
I mean, God, I've been waiting for this for.
Yeah. Plus, I hope that I hope the picture quality is good. You know, I mean, I just hope it's what it is lived up to be, for sure.
I know. It is. We've all built it up so much.
I know, man.
I hope it's good, but whatever. I mean, we still got our Mark IIIs, and I'm fine with that if it's a while. But I do love it.
Yeah,
I do love that camera. Cool. Well, Brett, thank you so much. And
pleasure
for being candid with us, and just being a positive person in the photography community, which I think is really needed. And that's something that I think you do really well, and I really appreciate it. I know all these guys watching do too, so thank you for that.
Appreciate it, dude. I'll have to make a trip down there, dude. I've never been to North Carolina.
Yeah, for sure. You got to come down.
Do you guys have a AAA team there or no?
I think so. I don't know.
Bulls, right?
What's that?
The Durham Bulls baseball team.
Oh yeah. That's it's like I can literally see it right out my window.
You got to go to a game. My buddy Casey Gillespie plays for them.
Oh really? Way cool.
I thought his engagement down in Alabama, but he just got moved up. So yeah.
Way cool. Yeah, it's like right there. It's right there.
Maybe I'll make it down before the season ends.
For sure. We'll have Sean up and we'll all bullshit.
Cool, man. I'm down.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brett. Have an amazing day. If you're watching, please follow Brett. I've got all three of his Instagram accounts linked in this post. I've got his website. I've got his Facebook. Please go and connect with him. Tell him you saw him and all that. And check back soon for more artist talks. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Brett. You guys have an amazing day. Peace.
Peace.